and now 12 Marines are dead. You said the buck stops with you. Do you bear any responsibility for the way that things have unfolded in the last 2 weeks?
I bear responsibility for fundamentally all that's happened of late. But here's the deal. You know, I wish you'd one day say these things. You know as well as I do that the former president made a deal with the Taliban that he would get all American forces out of Afghanistan by May 1. In return, the commitment was made, and that was a year before. In return, he was given a commitment that the Taliban would continue to attack others, but would not attack any American forces. Remember that? I'm being serious. I'm asking you a question. Because before... No, wait a minute. I'm asking you a question. Is that accurate, the best of your knowledge? What?
Do you think that people have an issue with?
Many people have made comment about this moment where Biden lowers his head on the podium as a moment of weakness. But actually, in Joe Biden's mind, this is a moment where he is lecturing a moron. This is Joe Biden's being patient with a moron in Joe Biden's mind. That Joe Biden has the facts. Joe Biden has all the answers. And Joe Biden is proceeding from a premise that nothing that happens in Afghanistan is the fault of Joe Biden, because the Biden administration decided many months ago that no matter what happened in Afghanistan, they were not going to have a military response. They were not going to have a diplomatic response. They were going to have a political response, to treat this as a domestic political issue, to blame Donald Trump for everything and anything that would happen in Afghanistan. Joe Biden here, by his entire sequence, is proceeding on the premise that anything that happens in Afghanistan under Joe Biden's watch is the personal fault of President Donald Trump. The problem is, this is not borne out by the facts. Council on Foreign Relations, U.S. Taliban peace deal. What to know? What are challenges to the peace process? Many issues remain to be worked out during the intra-Afghan negotiations, including sharing power, disarming and reintegrating Taliban fighters into society, and determining the future of the country's democratic institutions and constitution. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo directly contradicting Joe Biden's premise. I was in the room when President Trump made very clear to the senior Taliban negotiator that if you threatened an American, if you scared an American, if you hurt an American, that we would bring all American power to bear to make sure that we went to your village, to your house. We were very clear about the things we were prepared to do to protect American lives. And indeed, since we began these negotiations back in February of 2020, there wasn't a single American killed by the Taliban. We had established a deterrence model. Now, what's important about this? Since February 2020, no American has been killed in Afghanistan until Joe Biden's watch. But for all of 2020, did you see any news agency give credit to President Trump for keeping Americans alive in Afghanistan? No, none of these reporters gave Donald Trump any credit, but they are quick to agree with Joe Biden that it is all Donald Trump's fault. Joe Biden is proceeding from the premise that everything is Donald Trump's fault. The problem is, Joe Biden made the decision to close Bagram airfield, our route in and out of Afghanistan, to safely evacuate people. Joe Biden made that decision to close Bagram airfield, not Donald Trump. Joe Biden made the decision to not hold the Taliban accountable with military force when they did not form a coalition government with the Afghan government, which was specifically called upon in this agreement worked out by Donald Trump. So, Joe Biden chose to permit the Taliban to violate this agreement. Joe Biden won't hold the Taliban to the letter of the agreement, but he blames Donald Trump for the Taliban breaking it. That's an Olympic-level gymnastic triple somersault of spin. Let's switch to some good news here. This girl and her family arrived safely in Belgium, thanks to the kindness of the Belgian government. The Belgians decided to offer sanctuary to these Afghans. Why is this girl skipping across the airport tarmac upon fleeing Afghanistan? It's because Joe Biden turned her and her family over to the mercies of the Taliban. Right now, that mother would probably be beaten black and blue by the Taliban, and the Taliban would be turning this girl over as a child marriage to a deserving warlord of the Taliban in Afghanistan. These people were not rescued by Joe Biden. Joe Biden abandoned these people to their fate. In Joe Biden's mind, his biggest problem are dumb people that he has to correct and lecture and educate on the fact that it's all Donald Trump's fault. Joe Biden is wrong. Joe Biden does not have the facts. But in Joe Biden's mind, he has to correct dumb reporters. The reality is, Joe Biden abandoned the people of Afghanistan. Joe Biden caused the death of the American soldiers this past week. Everything that's happening in Afghanistan right now is 100% the fault of Joe Biden. Thank you.